Good afternoon. The regular meeting of the Governing Board of Education is called to order by myself, Jennifer Wiersma, serving as the board clerk, and assuming the responsibilities of the vacant board president at 3:34 p.m. on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, at the District Office Conference Center, rooms A through C. Are there any requests for changes to the agenda?
Yes. Two. I've been asked to move action item where Lisa Brown is going to give a report to before information item where Lisa Brown's going to do a report to before the action item so that she can do it, and I think she has someplace else she needs to be.
Okay. And number two?
I'd also like to pull action item number 8 from the agenda.
I am going to pull the warrant list, so that's my change. And then Mr. Schwartz.
The whole warrant list?
Yes, there's a specific item that I'd like to mention, and I can do that now, or I can wait, but the warrant list itself, I'd like to pull for a specific discussion revolving around a couple of items. And then as far as your request, I would say it's not in the best interest as trustees to censor one another or block the public from understanding what's going on. So as far as 08, I'd like to keep that on because I think transparency is it's imperative. So I won't be removing that. Having said that, if there's any overlapping conversation in closed, I don't know if there will be, and it changes the trajectory of where we go with this particular item, then I think we can cross that bridge when we get to it. But I do know we have to get to the governing board business. We have people who are here and need to hear from us, so.
I don't know what action that item requires us to take, to vote on. In other words, if there's we're supposed to do some action for that item, I don't know what the action is that we're supposed to perform.
The motion is there as written in the agenda. Mrs. Barclay, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I don't know why it's on the agenda. I think it's pretty much covered in board policy and district policy about what district resources can be used for. And one of them is not sending out opinions of board members, so.
Well, I don't think at this time this is the place to discuss all of that, so we're going to go ahead and leave the item as is. But again, with the trajectory of the conversation, I think when we land there, it may or may not be different. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and move to pass the agenda. Do I have a second?
Mrs. Wiersma, may I make a request on pulling item number 2 from the consent calendar? That's the personnel items listing. Unfortunately, I had a last-minute revision to that, and I could explain that when we pull for discussion.
Okay, so item number 2, and that's personnel. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got moving Lisa Brown's presentation up, which is good. So with those 2 changes, and I know Mr. Schwartz, we covered one of those requests. If there's none other with that standing as is, then I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to move the agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lene, would you please call roll?
Schwartz.
I have to think about this. Dean, can I talk with you, please?
Barclay? Yes.
Wiersma.
Yes, motion adopted 3-0. In accordance with Government Code Section 54957.7, the board will meet in closed session to consider the items listed in Section E. The governing board welcomes public comments. This is the time for closed session public comments. Any person wishing to provide a public comment to the board is required to attend the meeting. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes to a maximum total of 30 minutes per item for comments on the closed session agenda item. Do we have anyone here for closed session public comments? We do not.
Can I just make a quick point of order? I'm not sure that we approved the agenda correctly because Mr. Schwartz was making a suggestion that could be a motion, but Mrs. Wiersma, you basically told him no, and I don't really think that's within your purview to do. I think that should have probably gone to a vote if he was asking to make a motion.
Yes.
Without you just saying, no, we're not going to do that,
That's what I
so.
asked Dean about. That's
I
correct.
believe I took a vote at this point, and we did do it correctly. I pushed the motion. There was a second, Mrs. Barclay. And then after Mr. Schwartz conferred with legal, we went through and voted.
I hear what you're saying, but I think in the future, if a board member is making a suggestion, it's not fair for anyone on the board to unilaterally tell them no and then make a different motion, so just.
Note taken. Thank you. All right, if there's no one here for closed session public comments, we'll go ahead and head into closed session. Thank you for being here.